Get ready to dive into the fascinating life of a true legend. Welcome to Cinematic Odyssey. Today, we're uncovering Diana Rigg, rare photos and the untold life story of a legend. From her iconic roles to the little-known moments that shaped her career, we're offering an exclusive look at the woman behind the fame. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. This is one video you won't want to miss. Let's jump in. Diana Rigg was a woman of many layers, with a public charm that often hid her more fiery, unfiltered side. In interviews, she was warm, witty, and gracious. But in real life, she didn't hold back. She had a biting sense of humor and wasn't afraid to let people know when they irritated her. Things like littering, rude behavior, or someone cutting in line were enough to send her into a fit of frustration. And let's not forget her road rage. She didn't hesitate to shout at drivers who annoyed her in traffic. But perhaps what really set Diana apart was her honesty. She wasn't one to sugarcoat her feelings. If she didn't like something, she'd speak up, and if she saw something unfair, she'd do her best to call it out. It was this raw, unvarnished approach to life that made her such a memorable and iconic figure. As she herself put it, "I speak my mind. If I see something is unfair, I'll do my best to address it." Her life was as dramatic and intriguing as the roles she played on screen, filled with controversy and moments of scandal. But why was she like that? To really understand Diana Rigg, we need to take a look at where it all started. Diana Rigg's story begins on July 20th, 1938, in Doncaster, England. Born to Lewis and Beryl Hilda Rigg, she was the youngest of two children. Though her roots were in England, her early life was marked by a sense of adventure that came with her parents' time in India. Her father worked as a railway engineer, and it was there that her mother, pregnant with Diana, decided to temporarily return to England for her second childbirth. Diana's older brother had been born in India 4 years earlier in a military hospital, an experience that left her mother feeling unsettled. Determined to give birth in a safer environment, she came back to England to have Diana. At just 2 months old, Diana and her mother made the journey back to India, reuniting with the rest of the family. It was there that Diana's early years unfolded, learning Hindi as a second language and growing up surrounded by a rich blend of cultures. It was an upbringing that would influence her sharp wit and worldly perspective later in life. Diana Rigg's early years in India may have been filled with warmth and cultural richness, but that sense of security was short-lived. After World War II ended, her parents sent her back to England to attend a Protestant boarding school. At just 8 years old, the transition was jarring. Imagine being a child, surrounded by strangers, in an unfamiliar place, and feeling utterly alone and abandoned. That's what it must have felt like for Diana. She struggled to fit in, and in her own words, she hated it for most of her life. It was a time that left her feeling disconnected, as though she didn't belong anywhere. "I felt like a fish out of water," she later reflected. And it's no wonder. The isolation she experienced during those years left an indelible mark on her. But out of that struggle, Diana's character began to take shape. Amid the loneliness and discomfort, she found a love for performing. However, at that time, there was little support or encouragement to nurture that passion. When she confided in the headmistress about her dream of becoming an actress, the response was less than kind. With typical Diana humor, she quipped that her aspirations were probably seen as shocking, joking that it would have been easier to tell them she wanted to go on the game, a British slang term for becoming a sex worker. It's a telling moment that highlights not only the obstacles she faced, but also her resilient, irreverent spirit that would later define her. If there's one thing you quickly learn about Diana Rigg, it's that she never followed anyone's rules, especially when it came to her dreams. So, after completing her schooling in 1955, she completely disregarded her headmistress's disapproval and took a bold step toward the stage by enrolling in the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. It wasn't an easy journey, but it was one that Diana was determined to take. She spent 2 years honing her craft before her hard work paid off with a role in the 1957 production of The Caucasian Chalk Circle. This was just the beginning. Diana's talent and fierce determination didn't go unnoticed, and soon she joined the prestigious Royal Shakespeare Company. It wasn't long before she made a name for herself as an exceptional actress, one who could command attention with every performance. While making her mark on the stage, she also ventured into modeling and landed several small roles in British TV series. Diana Rigg was on the rise, and she was only getting started. In 1964, while touring with the Royal Shakespeare Company across the United States, Soviet Union, and Europe, Diana Rigg's life was about to change in ways she never expected. Her big break came in 1965 when she was cast in the role of Emma Peel on The Avengers, a part that would become iconic in television history. But here's the twist. Diana had no idea what she was stepping into. She hadn't watched The Avengers before auditioning, and even after landing the role, she didn't bother to tune in. In fact, she confessed, "I hadn't seen it. I didn't know what it was about. I had absolutely no idea at all." The Avengers was a spy comedy that centered on John Steed, played by Patrick Macnee, and his sharp, witty sidekick, Emma Peel. While John Steed was a polished, charming secret agent, Emma Peel was a revolutionary character, an empowered, crime-fighting woman in leather catsuits who defied conventional gender roles. Smart, fearless, and incredibly ahead of her time, Emma became a symbol of feminism in pop culture. But as much as Diana was catapulted into fame, it wasn't all glitz and glamour. Diana quickly discovered that, despite being the star of the show, she was paid far less than her male co-stars. Even more frustrating, she learned that the cameraman earned more than she did. Diana, ever the sharp critic, didn't mince words about the inequality. It was a harsh reality for someone who was at the forefront of a groundbreaking role in television. When Diana Rigg decided to stand up for herself and demanded a significant salary increase, she found herself facing a tough battle. She asked for a tripling of her salary, but she was met with resistance from every direction. In an industry where women's voices were often silenced, not a single woman came forward to support her. Even her close friend and co-star Patrick Macnee stayed silent. The media, always quick to pounce, painted her as a greedy, money-hungry young woman who was stepping out of line. They didn't care that she was simply fighting for what she was worth. Despite the backlash, Diana's determination paid off, and she eventually secured the raise, but the victory came with a heavy price. Her reputation took a hit, and she found herself branded as difficult and demanding, even though all she had done was demand fairness. Still, her 2 seasons on The Avengers would go down in history. The role of Emma Peel transformed her into an international star, her name forever tied to one of television's most iconic characters. For most actresses, becoming an overnight sensation would be the ultimate dream. But for Diana, it was more of a nightmare. The sudden fame that came with her role as Emma Peel wasn't what she had imagined. In fact, it was downright overwhelming. During her time in Germany, she experienced the frenzy of being a sex symbol firsthand. The police had to use their batons just to control the masses of adoring fans, and on another occasion, she was forced to hide in a public toilet just to escape the throngs of admirers. Diana hated being objectified, and the constant barrage of attention made her uncomfortable. Her transformation into a sex symbol didn't sit well with her. She was bombarded with fan mail, most of which she couldn't bring herself to read. The letters would pile up in her trunk, and although she didn't want to respond, she felt too guilty to throw them away. Eventually, her mother stepped in, handling the inappropriate ones with a mix of humor and bluntness, often replying with messages like, "My daughter's far too old for you. Go take a cold shower or run around the block." Looking back on her time as Emma Peel, Diana later expressed gratitude for the role, as well as for every part she'd ever taken on, whether a success or a failure. But she hated being remembered solely for that role. She didn't want to be known just for the leather catsuit, the glamorous, sexy spy. To her, it felt like a stark divide between the young icon she was back then and the more serious actress she later became. And as for that infamous catsuit, she described it as a nightmare. It was hot, sticky, and took a whole 45 minutes to get out of. The very thing that made her an icon was also the thing that she hated most about that period of her life. Despite the whirlwind of fame and controversy that followed her, Diana continued to carve out a remarkable career. Just 2 years after her iconic portrayal of Emma Peel, she landed another major role in the 1969 James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service. But, true to form, more fame came with more drama. This time, the scandal had a sexual edge. Diana played Tracy D. Vincenzo, the only Bond girl to ever marry James Bond, played by George Lazenby. But the behind-the-scenes story wasn't quite as romantic. Diana and Lazenby reportedly couldn't stand each other. In fact, Diana seemed to harbor a lasting disdain for him throughout her life. There was even a rumor that she would purposely eat garlic before their love scenes just to irritate him. Imagine trying to keep your composure during a passionate scene with a mouthful of garlic breath. But Diana was quick to set the record straight, claiming that the story wasn't true. So, where did the rumor come from? According to Diana, Lazenby himself started it, and she wasn't one to let things slide. She called him out publicly, perhaps reveling in the fact that her words likely embarrassed him. Another salacious rumor about their on-set chemistry also made the rounds. One suggesting there was an intense sexual attraction between the two, and that Diana was eager to have an affair with him. The story went that she only agreed to entertain the idea if he promised not to see other women. But according to the rumor mill, Diana caught him fooling around with another girl in the stunt tent. And once again, who was allegedly responsible for spreading the story? None other than Lazenby himself. Diana never commented directly on his claims, but in interviews, she didn't hold back her true feelings, describing him as ghastly, a man who was arrogant and self-important, constantly throwing his weight around. It's hard to separate fact from fiction in these stories, but one thing is clear. Diana wasn't afraid to stand her ground, whether it was against her co-stars or the rumors surrounding her. Despite the off-screen drama between Diana Rigg and George Lazenby, On Her Majesty's Secret Service is still widely regarded by many as one of the best Bond films. It's not necessarily the action that stands out, but rather how the movie delves deep into the psyche of James Bond. For the first time, we see the man behind the legend, and it adds a layer of complexity to the iconic spy. In the early 70s, Diana found herself falling for someone new, Israeli painter Menachem Geffen. Their connection wasn't sparked by wild attraction or love at first sight. Instead, it was rooted in intellectual chemistry. They bonded over deep conversations before romance took hold. But as with many of her relationships, things weren't smooth sailing. Their love story quickly became one of constant tension and conflict. While on vacation in Israel, their already volatile relationship took a dramatic turn. After a particularly heated argument, Geffen, in a fit of rage, threw all of Diana's luggage out of their hotel room window. That act seemed to spell the end of their romance. But as with many passionate relationships, it wasn't over so easily, at least not in Diana's mind. You would think after all of Diana's experiences, especially her resolve not to settle down or put up with a man's nonsense, that she would have firmly closed the door on marriage. But in true Diana Rigg fashion, she shocked everyone after the explosive fight with Menachem Geffen. On a flight home, in a moment that seemed almost too bizarre to be true, she asked him to marry her. "Yes, you read that right," she proposed. And to everyone's surprise, he said yes. Their whirlwind romance took a new turn, but the story would take an all-too-familiar twist. On the day of their wedding, Diana openly admitted that she had met her match and that, despite the passion, they were still figuring things out. From the start, their marriage was riddled with constant bickering and emotional turmoil. It was a roller coaster ride from which neither of them could escape, and just 11 months later, they divorced. Diana had even predicted its short lifespan with eerie accuracy, quipping on their wedding day, "I give the marriage a year." True to her word, their marriage ended as quickly as it began, a testament to Diana's sharp insight into her own life and relationships. In 1977, Diana's life took another dramatic turn when she gave birth to her only daughter, Rachel. It was one of the happiest moments in her life, so much so that she chose to step away from her career to focus entirely on raising Rachel. Diana was determined to give her daughter all the love and attention that she herself had never received from her own parents. However, there was a complication. Diana wasn't married at the time. Rachel's father, Archibald Sterling, was a well-known theater producer, and despite the couple's untraditional start, they eventually tied the knot 5 years after Rachel's birth. But happiness wasn't meant to last. In 1990, Diana's world was shattered when she discovered that Archibald had been cheating on her with none other than actress Jolie Richardson. The affair was more than just a betrayal, it was a public scandal. Richardson, who had already started making a name for herself in Hollywood, was a young beauty of just 25 years old, more than half Diana's age. To Diana, the affair was a blow not only to her marriage, but also to her pride. The marriage, already strained by other pressures, came to a bitter end. Despite the personal heartbreak she had endured, Diana Rigg's career continued to thrive in the worlds of film, television, and theater. Her resilience and talent led her to some of her most iconic roles. One of her most significant was in the award-winning television series Game of Thrones. Interestingly, the role of Olenna Tyrell was offered to her with little knowledge of the show on her part. Just like with the Avengers, she had never heard of Game of Thrones before being cast, and even during her time on the show, she never watched it. Diana loved playing the sharp-tongued and clever Olenna, a character who was both fierce and feared. Her portrayal of Olenna became a fan favorite, with audiences captivated by her biting wit and unapologetic cunning. Diana relished playing bad characters, acknowledging how much more interesting they were than those who adhered to the typical virtuous mold. She once confessed, "They are so much more interesting than good." There are some actors who don't like to play bad, they like to be liked. I love to be disliked. This mindset made her an unforgettable presence in every role she took on, and her unapologetic authenticity made her even more beloved to fans. Diana Rigg's illustrious career spanned several decades, marked by numerous accolades that showcased her immense talent and versatility. She won a Tony Award for her powerful performance in Medea and earned several Emmy Awards for her exceptional work in television. Her ability to transition seamlessly between stage and screen cemented her reputation as one of the finest actresses of her generation. Her dedication to her craft was unmatched, and she was equally unbothered by fame, choosing instead to focus on doing the right thing and standing up for her beliefs. Despite her success, Diana remained a fiercely independent woman who valued her work and her principles above all else. As her career continued to thrive, she never sought the limelight for the sake of fame. Instead, she sought to challenge herself, taking on roles that pushed her limits as an artist. Sadly, Diana passed away on September 10, 2020, after a long and painful battle with cancer. Throughout her illness, she became an advocate for assisted dying, openly speaking about the pain she was enduring and her desire to have control over the end of her life. In her final days, Diana made a heartbreaking request to her daughter, Rachel, saying, "Rachel, it's gone on too long. Push me over the edge." This was a promise Rachel had made to her mother when she was still very young, one she couldn't fulfill. Diana, who had always been known for her strength, left this world on her own terms after a life filled with accomplishments, personal struggles, and a fierce will to live life as she saw fit. Throughout her life, Diana Rigg was not only known for her incredible talent, but also for her outspoken activism. She was a vocal critic of the Vietnam War, the violence in Northern Ireland, and the political unrest in Iran, using her platform to raise awareness and demand change. In her final months, Diana turned her focus to the issue of assisted dying, advocating for the right to end one's life with dignity and without unnecessary suffering. Her unyielding stance on this matter was just another testament to her courage and unwavering belief in standing up for what she thought was right. Diana's career was not without its struggles and controversies, but those very challenges only served to highlight her strength, resilience, and commitment to her craft. She became a trailblazer in the entertainment industry, pushing boundaries for women and speaking out for equal pay and better opportunities for actresses. Diana's impact on both the stage and the screen was profound, and her fearless attitude made her not only a respected figure in her field, but a beloved one as well. Her remarkable performances, memorable roles, and tireless advocacy for change ensured that Diana Rigg's legacy would live on long after her passing. Diana Rigg's legacy is not just marked by her extraordinary achievements in the entertainment world, but by the profound impact she had on those who followed her. Through her work, she demonstrated that authenticity and resilience are just as important as talent. She became a beacon of strength for many aspiring artists, showing that it is possible to remain true to oneself while navigating the complexities of fame and personal challenges. Her influence is evident in the countless actors who have cited her as a role model, and in the lasting recognition she earned for her dedication to her craft. Diana's commitment to both her work and the causes she believed in, such as social justice and environmental advocacy, speaks to the depth of her character. Through every role she portrayed, Diana embodied integrity, compassion, and a fierce sense of independence which resonated deeply with audiences and peers alike. Her legacy continues to inspire, not just as a testament to artistic excellence, but as a reminder that strength, resilience, and authenticity are qualities that shape not only great artists but great human beings. Diana Rigg's life is a reminder to all of us that embracing who we truly are is the key to creating a lasting impact on the world around us. If you enjoyed this video, there's a good chance you'll also enjoy the one showing on your screen right now. Click and enjoy, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one. Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, often called the mother of the civil rights movement, forever changed the trajectory of history with one simple yet profound act of defiance. Born in 1913 in Tuskegee, Alabama, Rosa experienced firsthand the deep-seated segregation and systemic racism that defined life in the South during the early 20th century. On December 1, 1955, in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa made a quiet but powerful decision. She refused to give up her seat to a white passenger on a segregated bus. That single act of courage ignited the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal moment that helped fuel the larger civil rights movement in America. Her bravery was more than just a refusal to move. It was a stand for justice and equality that resonated across the nation. Rosa's act became a symbol of resistance, inspiring millions to join the fight for civil rights and social change. Her legacy is a testament to the power of individual action and the idea that even the smallest steps can lead to monumental transformations. Rosa Parks' story reminds us that change doesn't always require grand gestures. Sometimes it's the quiet courage of one person that sparks a movement capable of reshaping an entire society. Her courage continues to inspire and teach us the profound impact of standing up for what is right. Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart is one of those people whose name immediately brings to mind courage, adventure, and breaking barriers. Born in 1897 in Kansas, Amelia didn't just accept the world as it was, she challenged it. Her love for flying sparked when she was 23, after her first airplane ride. From that moment on, the sky was never the limit for her. In 1932, Amelia made history by becoming the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. This wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a game changer for women everywhere, showing that they could soar in a man's world. Amelia didn't just fly for the thrill, she used her platform to show that women could take on challenges and achieve greatness in fields that were previously off-limits. But Amelia wasn't just about setting records. She was deeply invested in advocating for women's rights, showing that women had just as much right to space in the skies and the world as men. She was passionate about making sure that young girls could see themselves breaking boundaries, just like she did. Sadly, Amelia's journey ended mysteriously in 1937 when she disappeared while attempting to fly around the world. Her plane was never found, and to this day, we don't know exactly what happened. But even in her disappearance, Amelia's story has only grown in power. She's a symbol of someone who dared to dream, even when the road ahead was uncertain. Amelia's life is a reminder that chasing your dreams isn't always a smooth ride, but it's in those bold leaps that we leave our mark on the world. She'll always be remembered as someone who refused to let anything hold her back, and for that, she continues to inspire generations to come. Oscar Pistorius. Oscar Pistorius, often known as the Blade Runner, was a trailblazer who shattered barriers in the world of athletics. Born in 1986 in South Africa without fibulae in both legs, Oscar's parents made the courageous decision to amputate his legs below the knee before he reached his first birthday. Despite the challenges this presented, Oscar defied expectations from a young age. With the help of prosthetic limbs, Oscar excelled in sports, initially competing in rugby and water polo before finding his true passion in athletics. His use of carbon fiber prosthetics allowed him to sprint with incredible speed, and he went on to achieve great success, winning multiple Paralympic gold medals. In 2012, he made history by becoming the first double amputee sprinter to compete in the Olympic Games, a moment that captured the world's attention and demonstrated the boundless potential of the human spirit. However, Oscar's remarkable story took a tragic turn in 2013 when he was convicted for the fatal shooting of his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp. This event deeply complicated his legacy, highlighting the complexities of fame, personal struggles, and the consequences of one's actions. Oscar Pistorius' story serves as both an inspiration for overcoming physical limitations and a cautionary tale about the importance of accountability and character. His journey is a reminder that human potential is vast, but so are the challenges that come with public life. From the track to the stage, let's meet another individual who embraced their differences and used them to create extraordinary art. Which story inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Ludwig van Beethoven. Ludwig van Beethoven's story is nothing short of incredible. Born in 1770 in Bonn, Germany, Beethoven showed a love for music from a very young age. He was a true musical prodigy, but his life wasn't without its struggles. He grew up with a tough relationship with his father, who was hard on him, pushing him to excel. But his biggest challenge came later in life. Beethoven started losing his hearing in his late 20s. Imagine being a composer, someone who lived and breathed music, and slowly losing the very thing that allowed you to create. For most people, that would be a devastating blow. But Beethoven? He didn't let that stop him. Even as his hearing faded, he still wrote some of the most beautiful, powerful music ever heard. He relied on his deep knowledge of music and could feel the vibrations of sound in his body. Despite his deafness, Beethoven composed masterpieces like his Ninth Symphony and the Moonlight Sonata, works that are still beloved today. His ability to keep creating despite such a personal struggle is nothing short of inspiring. Beethoven's story teaches us that even when life throws us major obstacles, our passion and determination can help us find a way to keep going. His music still resonates with us, a timeless reminder of the power of perseverance. Welcome to Cinematic Odyssey. Today, we're exploring the bold and daring side of Hollywood with 35 actresses who went fully nude for movies. These incredible stars pushed their performances to the next level, embracing raw vulnerability and breaking boundaries on the big screen. Riva Steenkamp. This event deeply complicated his legacy, highlighting the complexities of fame, personal struggles, and the consequences of one's actions. Oscar Pistorius' story serves as both an inspiration for overcoming physical limitations and a cautionary tale about the importance of accountability and character. His journey is a reminder that human potential is vast, but so are the challenges that come with public life. From the track to the stage, let's meet another individual who embraced their differences and used them to create extraordinary art. Which story inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more incredible content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. 1. Liv Tyler, The Leftovers. Liv Tyler, known for her acclaimed roles in The Lord of the Rings, Armageddon, and Reign Over Me, has had a career spanning over 20 years. Although she wasn't known for explicit nudity in her early roles, she broke away from her usual restraint in The Leftovers, a series about a mysterious apocalyptic event that causes 2% of the world's population to vanish. While Tyler has had semi-nude appearances in films like Stealing Beauty and The Ledge, her bold moments in The Leftovers showcased a different, more daring side of her acting, further solidifying her versatility and potential as a star. Which performance left the biggest impression on you? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss more captivating content. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. For most people, that would be a devastating blow. But Beethoven? He didn't let that stop him. Even as his hearing faded, he still wrote some of the most beautiful, powerful music ever heard. He relied on his deep knowledge of music and could feel the vibrations of sound in his body. Despite his deafness, Beethoven composed masterpieces like his Ninth Symphony and the Moonlight Sonata, works that are still beloved today.